the learning disability, autism, emotional disturbance, mental retardation, speech and language impairment, deafness, blindness, traumatic brain injury, orthopedic impairment, multiple disabilities, other health impairment. And it used to be something called mentally gifted, but they don't even diagnose that much anymore because they don't get paid for it anymore. They took mentally gifted out of the special ed law. That's why you don't see a lot of black mentally gifted children anymore, because they don't get paid to find them anymore. But they still get paid to find the retarded ones. They still get paid to find the speech and language disorder ones. They still get paid to find the learning disabled ones. They still get paid to find the so-called ADHD, which is the biggest scam in the black community. Every other boy, ADHD. Every other school, ADHD. Have you noticed that most of the boys diagnosed with the ADHD don't have a father figure in their life? This isn't about no psychiatric condition. This is a situation where they lock the fathers up for selling crack and then take that same crack, call it Ritalin, call it Concerta, call it Medicaid, call it Cypher. The same crack that sent his father to jail, they will give it to his son long enough to be miseducated by middle-class folks, most of whom don't look like them and can care less if they succeed. It is a crime. If drugs are bad for some people, then they must be bad for all. You can't say that drugs are bad when they're sold on a corner, but they're not bad when we give them in the schoolhouse. Crack is either good or it's not. Speed is either good or it's not. And according to the Drug Enforcement Agency of America, there's no difference between Ritalin and crack. In fact, Ritalin and cocaine are classified, both of them, as Schedule B drugs by the Drug Enforcement Agency of America. That's right. Some of you like, well, the psychiatrist didn't tell me that. He's not going to tell you that because he gets a kickback from the drug company based on how many prescriptions he can write every year. He's not going to tell you that. In fact, doctors do more endorsing than professional athletes do. You walk into the doctor's office, first thing you do is look at the name on the clock. Look at the name on the calendar. Look at the name on the tissue box. Look at the name on the ink pen. He'll let you know who he's playing ball for. Is he playing ball for Ritalin or playing ball for Concerta? Is he playing ball for Zoloft or playing ball for Paxil? Our children are living in a state of pharmacracy. The rule of medication. Pharmacracy. Drugs are the new handcuffs. Pharmacracy. The average person smokes cocaine, begins in their late teens. We got boys on Ritalin and Adderall at 3 years old. I know children 4 years old taking 3 drugs. One for ADHD, one for anger, and another one for depression. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then parents say, well, Dr. Johnson, but it's working. What do you mean it's working? Well, ever since he's been on the medicine, I don't hear from his teacher no more. But at what cost? Is it worth the fact that when he grows up, he might not be able to have children because the medicines destroy the boy's ability to produce healthy semen? At what cost?
Wake up, black people!
By the time he's 20, he's starting to see things and hear things, early onset schizophrenia, because you felt it was important for him to be able to sit still to learn about Christopher Columbus. At what cost? At what cost? Half the black boys in America in the 4th grade can't even read on their grade level. He's on drugs for what? Half the black boys in 8th grade can't do math on their grade level. On drugs for what? and we go along with it. Because as parents, we don't want nobody to blame us. Teachers don't want to be blamed. Schools don't want to be blamed. Communities don't want to be blamed. Parents don't want to be blamed. So we blame the damn child. He's the reason he can't learn. Since when do children become responsible for their own success? Losing weight like crazy, gaining weight like crazy, can't go to sleep, can't wake up, diabetes, epilepsy. These are the side effects of these medications. You don't believe me? When you leave here today, go to the supermarket. Go to the aisle where they keep the periodicals and spend $5 for the physician's best reference on medicine. And look up the drug your son is taking and look at all the side effects listed right there that the psychiatrist never told you about. Can cause heart attack, can cause stroke, can change the structure of his blood, can cause cancer. Just to learn. You need medication to get an education now? Wow. And then some of our kids suffer from double jeopardy. In the school psychologists say they got a learning disability. And at the clinical psychologist says he got ADHD. So he can get the worst of both worlds. He can get special ed and he can get crack. And then some of you take the evaluation from the clinic and bring it to the school. That's none of their business, but you bring it to them. Hey, my son was diagnosed with ADHD. I think he needs special ed. ADHD has nothing to do with special ed. But they can legally put him in special ed for it if you're silly enough to tell those people your business. Stop telling the schools your family business. Because they are breaking up families because you talk too much. Your son's father might be incarcerated, but I wouldn't share that with the school. There's no compassion in the schoolhouse. Are you aware that the school is an extension of the prison system? And if the school is an extension of the prison system, that means the teachers are the new police officers. And the principals are the new wardens. And if that be the case, everything you say to a teacher can and will be used against your family. Well, his father's locked up, and I'm a single mother raising 3 children on my own. And I know why you're telling them. You're telling them because you're thinking they might understand. You're doing it because you expect to solicit some compassion. I understand, but I want you to know that the school is emotionless. It is an extension of white supremacy. They don't have emotions for you. So the fact that you told that teacher that the father was in jail and you a single mother raising 3 children, you just gave her the weapon she needed to hang you with. So if she's a single mother, that means she can't afford to keep coming up here to pick up Rashid. So we're going to call her every single day and make her take off of work every single day. And so now you're telling the principal more of your business, which is my boss said. If I continue to take off of work, if I continue to have these extended lunch breaks, I might lose my job. You just gave them another weapon. So then they say, oh, Mrs. Williams, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I would hate to see you lose your job. So I think you might have to consider putting Rashid on some medication. It's what's best for all of us. Him, the school, and your income. And so now a black mother who don't even want their child on drugs has no choice to do it. Because you got to choose between your family being homeless or your son being addicted to crack for children. You keep your family business to yourself. And stop getting the child tested for ADHD if you don't believe in medicine. Listen to me. The only reason they want you to get your child tested for ADHD is once the diagnosis is on paper. Once it's on paper, you're giving them another weapon. Because now your son has a so-called diagnosed medical problem that requires medication that the parents don't want to give him. So do you know what the next step is? The next step is to pick up the phone and call Youth and Family Services. We have a child in our school who has ADHD, a made-up disorder that can't even be proven to exist. I'm going to say it again. A made-up disorder that can't even be proven to exist. You say, well, I don't believe you. I've never heard any other psychologist say such things. Not even the black ones. That's because they don't work for themselves and I do. That's why you never heard it said. But in case you need any more evidence, let me give it to you right now. Let me read you the diagnosis of ADHD. This is what we use to diagnose this nonsense. Number one, fails to give close attention to detail. Has difficulty sustaining attention. Does not listen when spoken to directly. Does not follow through on instructions. Has difficulty organizing his tasks and activities. Is reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort. Is easily distracted by extraneous stimuli. Is forgetful in daily activities. Loses things necessary to get his work done. Fidgets with his hands or feet. Leaves his seat when he's supposed to stay seated. Runs or climbs when it is inappropriate, according to whom. Is often on the go, talks excessively, blurts out answers, has difficulty waiting his time. And the last one is, has difficulty playing quietly. What child do you know on the planet Earth, black, white, Arab, East Indian, Latino, Native American, rich or poor, who plays quietly? In fact, if you just heard the criteria I gave you, it would describe every last one of us in this room right now. ADHD is not attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's ain't no daddy at home disorder. That's all it has ever been. When did we get ADHD? 1990. Is that a coincidence? No, that's when the mass incarceration war against black men intensified. It was during the early 90s that Bill Clinton said 3 strikes and you out, mandatory minimum sentencing. So psychiatry stepped in when Bill Clinton stepped in and said if he's going to start locking up all these fathers, we might as well make some money off of it. Everybody knows this ain't about medicine. But black folks are doing something you've never done before. And that is trust the system. In fact, I spend more time arguing with you all than with white folks. In fact, I don't even have to argue with them. They see me coming, it's him and just give away words. Just go, whatever you need, get them out of here. But I gotta argue with y'all. Well, I know my son got ADHD, you can't tell me. Some kids got no. You're just lazy and don't want to do your